So many times folks ask, Bethany, why don't you just go get a job? It's so much easier. Just go work for somebody else. Hey, Kurt, why are you working for yourself? That just seems a whole lot more stressful. Just keep doing the great career you were doing. Why would you want to change that? Why real estate investing? That just seems like a lot harder. Why would you want to do that? Sometimes the why has to be bigger than you. So I'd like to talk to you about what your why is. Is your why to create legacy wealth for your family? Is your why to maybe just have funds for college so your kids have a choice that maybe you didn't have? Is your why maybe to provide an income so that your wife doesn't have to go to work and the income is there and she can stay home with the kids? Maybe your why is nothing to do with any of that and you just want to make a difference in your community. Maybe your why has everything to do with who you are and who God created you to be. You see, God created Kurt and I for a different purpose than He created others. If nobody was ever created to be an entrepreneur, there would never be a job. If there's never any jobs, then nobody would have the income. You see, everything is necessary to provide for the other things and to keep things going and flowing. And this is true in our season of life that we're in, but also even more so. God clearly designed me as an entrepreneur. My mind works differently. I think differently. As an employee, am I good employees? Yes. But I'm going to see things more from the business owner's perspective because that's what's natural to me. That's what comes. That's the way God designed me. In Kurt's perspective, he thought he was designed to just be a W-2 worker and work for somebody else forever. But then he realized God was training him and building him to do something far different. You see, when we understand who we are, it changes how we look at our life, whether we're happy with what we're doing and what we're not. So if you're looking at your retirement account, or you're looking at your investment portfolio, or you're looking at your returns on your capital that you've worked so hard to earn, and they're not making you happy or contented or satisfied, then now you have to think of something different. And that's where American Made Home Solutions comes into the picture. You see, we started down this path of real estate investing with the same business model we've had from the beginning, to create sustainable growth in every single market that we're in. Now, we can't do that if we're only doing one house here, one house here, one house here. You have to go big or go home, because I'm not going to make an impact in that community. I'm certainly not going to create sustainable growth. I may create growth, I may create a product, but it'll end with me. And that's not at all what we set out to do. So in our communities, we want to not only provide jobs, we want to provide systems and processes to business owners who already are creating jobs. We also want to provide quality homes because the housing crisis is real, and it's real everywhere in every single market. We also wanted to provide opportunities. You see, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I didn't set out as a 5-year-old thinking one day I'm going to be a business owner. That's not what my 5-year-old brain thought. In fact, my 5-year-old brain thought quite differently. Kurt's 5-year-old brain thought quite differently. But in turn and in time, as we've grown as individuals, God has shown us our gifts, our talents, what He's equipped us to do, what things we've learned through our experiences. And one of those things is that we have learned if we're going to make an impact and create sustainable growth, we're definitely going to have to go bigger. Well, there's only so many houses in a market that I can renovate, single family wise. There's only so many multifamily products in a market. If I'm competing against all the other investors doing the exact same thing, then we're going to run out of product. So to create sustainable growth, which is our business model, we needed to go big or go home. So we started down the path of build to rent several years ago. And the reason we started down it several years ago is because we're so picky about our teams. We're picky about our partners. We're picky about so many different scenarios that are involved with this because so many things can go wrong. So in doing that, we have to look at things from a different perspective. So one of the things that we did is we watched the developers that we wanted to work with. And we watched them for a while. We looked at their track record. We saw the product. We visited those sites. We've met with them. We met with their families. We looked at each and every different aspect of that because it's kind of like a wedding. You didn't date your spouse one time and then get married. Most people don't, right? So you took the time to court them. This isn't much different. So when we partner with somebody, that is a strong relationship that we take highly seriously, but we also stop and realize that there's value in that person and what they bring to the table. So our collaboration really helps all of us become better. But we want to get the right people in the right places on the bus, not just on the bus. So if we're putting the right people in the right place on the bus, then our bus can not only get full, but it can get bigger. And we can add more buses because we'll continue to train and go and grow. And that's what we're doing with our build to rent communities. Every housing market has a housing shortage, and the shortage is in workforce housing. It's not in custom homes, it's in workforce housing. We only focus on workforce housing. We're also focused on build to rent because of not just the need of workforce housing, but because so many times the risks that come along with a developer is that they build all these spec homes and then they sit vacant because they're trying to sell it. And if you are like any of these other markets, right, you saw home prices go up, they go down. Market rates, those financing rates go up, they go down. If they're going to go up and down, it's going to affect my exit strategy. We try not to do something that's going to be affected by something we can't control. I can't control those, but everybody needs to live somewhere. So there's always an opportunity to create another rental in a market that has a high rental demand because it's growing because of jobs. There's always a need to create a different product. So COVID taught everybody they didn't want to be inside their house, or their apartment, I should say, with their 3 kids and all in there all day long and everybody trying to just stream and video and this and that. So they all want houses, but they can't afford houses. So creating our build to rent product as single family homes and making those accessible, that is something that we're not having any problems getting filled up. We won't have any problems when the product hits the market because it's going to be a different product that's not available in the market. It's also highly sought after. So again, if you provide the product that more people want, you're going to be able to charge a rate for that. And accordingly, because we're workforce housing, we underwrite with that median income wage in mind. So we know if they can afford it or not. It doesn't do any good if I'm pricing it as something they can't afford, right? So that's kind of the point as well. Recognizing your market, knowing your metrics, and understanding each one of those. So why didn't we just go get another job? Why didn't Kurt just keep moving in the career path he had? Because God has called us to create something far bigger than us, far bigger than we could ever do on our own, and collaborate with amazing men and women on our teams to do a much larger goal in mind. So with that, we're excited. This is amazing, the opportunity that we have here. This is one of our most recent acquisitions. We just closed on the land, and we're going to be able to build 241 homes. It's going to be amazing.
And follow the length of the fence with a double loaded street with houses on both sides. And then there's a large detention pond in the middle of the property that'll have walking trails, and all of our interior units will be 2-story, facing both sides. The front and the rear will have porches. And that'll come through to a different section. We'll have the clubhouse right on the pond, sort of in the middle, right over there. And that'll have a pool, leasing office, workout room, sort of the typical amenities you find in a multifamily development, as well as a playground. And then we'll have our phase 2, that's 160 lots, units. Phase 2 will be a different sort of product.
What are you talking about? We're ready, dude. We are always ready. This is the business world.
That's true. Does it look good?
Yes.
All right. Our team just bought these 30 acres, and it is no longer available.
And look, developers are already on site. We have closed on Broussard. This is now the property, and we all own this, and now it's time to take out the signs. But they're in there good, so we got to figure out how many men does it take to take out the sign?
Supervising.
Yeah, that's our developer at his finest, right? Oh, made it look easy. couldn't have done it without our team. We couldn't have done it without us working together. We couldn't have done it without reaching out and stretching a little bit. It's always easier to do it yourself, but it doesn't always accomplish the same thing because you're limited. But if you start adding your superpowers with somebody else's superpowers and their superpowers with somebody else's superpowers, now you're multiplying all those superpowers. And then we just have an amazing team of superheroes, which is what we have done and what we continue to do at American Made Home Solutions. So if you're looking to invest with a team that is solid, that has a track record, that has well over 100 years of experience, then that's where American Made Home Solutions is going to come in. Let's have these conversations. Let's talk more about what you want your investment portfolio to look like, what goals you're trying to accomplish financially, what things you're trying to do. Maybe you're just trying to make a difference in your community and you'd like us to kind of spotlight on your community and look at your community. Who knows? Maybe you recognize the value in the workforce housing and you want to make a difference in solving that housing crisis that we're focused on. Whatever that is, think through it, reach out to us, and then when you do, we're going to get on a quick call. When we get on that quick call, we're going to ask you some very pointed questions because we want to help. And if we don't know what you're after, we don't know how to help. So sometimes just asking those questions can make all the difference in the world. So let's get on a call, let's ask those hard questions, and let's find out what we can do to make things happen for you in your investments, in your finances, and in your legacy wealth growth. Until next time, bye for now.